In this class, you're going to have 4 browsing projects. These are 10-point projects that are primarily participation, where you're going to be gathering the texts that you can then use in your later projects, like your group projects and your final paper, definitely in your bibliography. So, the projects correspond to our units in this class: fantasy, poetry and drama, historical and multicultural fiction, and nonfiction. So those 4 units. You're going to go to a library. LMU has an excellent children's library, but if you're not nearby, you can use a public library, or you can look at online collections through a local library or through LMU, but you will need to get copies of these books, either physical copies or e-text so you can actually see them. This is not something you can do from memory. So, go to the library, look at books, experience the browsing of literature. That's something that kids do. Kids don't tend to look in catalogs for material, though you should because you need to get some specific kinds of text. But kids tend to walk down the shelves, right, and pick out something that attracts their attention. Something that looks enjoyable, just on a sort of knee-jerk reaction basis. Have that experience again as you are creating these projects. And you should be thinking about your final project. What do you plan to do with this class? If you don't know yet, that is just fine, but if you do, think about ways that you could start using this to work towards that final goal. So, are you thinking about creating a unit for a future class? Are you thinking about creating a unit for a library that includes like activities and crafts that kids can do because they want to? Or are you thinking about like a unit for an online masterclass or a podcast, looking at, say, the historic evolution of children's literature from the 19th century to the present? All of these are ways that you could take looking at children's literature and use that in a final project. So, fulfills objectives 1 and 2, and the purpose is to familiarize yourselves with a wide range of texts, wider than we could cover in this class together. It's also so that you can share some of these texts with your peers, and perhaps they will learn something or find something that interests them that's beyond the scope of this class as well. Develop a robust bibliography and understand the criteria for a good book. That is not to say the books that you choose are necessarily going to be things that you like. You can judge them as not meeting that criteria. The object is to have these texts so that you can evaluate them yourself. So, tasks, go to the library. In person, online, somehow you need to get the physical texts. And you can talk with me if you need other options. Evaluate the text with the rubric that we have in this class. The rubric is attached here in your browsing project on Canvas. It's also located here on the wiki in case you can't find it. And here's the catalog. Next, you need to create a bibliography. APA MLA just needs all that citation information. You can use a citation machine to get it. And then identify which category the books fulfill. So here are the categories that you need to hit. You need to have 7 to 10 texts. Did you find 7 to 10? They need to represent whatever genre, subtopic we're looking at it. This week it would be fantasy. Need an award winner, an elementary or middle grade school book, a high school aged book, marginalized or minority author, correct APA bibliographic citation information, and you need 5 that were published after 2000, and 2 of those 5 need to be after 2013. So, here are your best resources. Go to the LMU library. We have a librarian dedicated to children's literature. She is ready and willing to help with this class, help you find the text you need, and help you find the things that you specifically want to look for, maybe gearing up for that final project. So this is the browsing project. Contact me if you have any questions, any problems. happy to work through this with you and probably work through it for the rest of the class if there's something that hits a speed bump on the way. So that's our browsing project.